Welcome to Real Estate on the Rocks, where you get top shelf real estate conversations served straight up, never watered down. Here's your host, Dave Snowberger.
Welcome back to Real Estate on the Rocks, where you get top shelf real estate conversations served straight up, never watered down. I'm your host, Dave Snowberger, joined today in the studio with one of my favorite people on the face of the earth, Alicia Hooper. Happy Taco Tuesday, Alicia.
Yeah.
We also have Marshall Tucker and the new guy, James Mendez, will be joining us. He's fresh out of the fresh. I don't know. He's fresh out of something. He looks
Out of the real estate womb.
yeah. Fresh out of real estate school, ready to sell 1 million houses and take the world by storm, right? Isn't that how most new agents do it?
Yes.
All right, cool. So let's talk to some new agents today. So this is going to be directed at new agents. This is going to be directed at agents that have been around for 2 to 5 years. This is going to be directed at agents that really need some ideas on how to trim the fat and run a lean business. All right, so suggestions around the table, and I'm going to start today with my favorite go-to. It's 2 favorites today, and they're both Alicia.
Trim the fat. What does that mean?
What does that mean? When you get into this business as a new agent, I found out that everybody has their hand open, and everybody has a solution for me to run my business. Basically hit an easy button, which we all know there's no easy button in this business now after a few years in the business. You know, I'm heading into 6 years. I think Marshall's around 4. You're a couple, you're 3. And this guy, he's been with us for around 72 hours. He's very in an embryonic stage. But, you know, everybody's got their hands out and they're really looking for you to spend money. And a lot of times you can buy into some of this stuff. And then you just kind of forget that you're using it. Like I just got reminded yesterday, I like to every once in a while look at the bank account. Not too often. But when I do look at it, I realize, like, what's this? I just asked my admins, like, what is this? What is this payment for $75? And then I see it's recurring a month. I'm like, what am I paying $75? And how my mind works is that $75 times 12,
right.
And then I start looking at a yearly basis, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's $1,000. Mass off a little bit there, but you know, that's $1,000. What am I spending $1,000 a year on? Okay, well now what else am I spending money on that I'm not paying attention to? You know, and not only that, what am I spending money on that I'm under the impression that it's working? You know, we looked at one lead generation tool that we had that we spend quite a bit of money on, and then after taking a look at it and crunching the numbers, we saw that the return on investment was not enough to put into 20, 30 hours a week into this customer resource manager tool that we use. It's just we're not seeing a return out of it. And so, you know, we spent, say, let's just use some odd numbers here, but we spent $30,000 and it brought in $34,000. So we made $4,000. Well, that really, to me, isn't a profit.
The pitch is, it's the long game.
Yeah.
One more year.
And typically, that's the thing that we get is it's the long game. And that's how a lot of these folks sell this stuff to us is they get us in that mindset of that, okay, well, it's an investment. Okay, well, you know, we have to nurture these things. And we hear a lot of this in the business. You know, you got to get the lead. You got to nurture it. You got to call it X amount of times a month. And then, you know, in 13, 18 months, it'll become this. Well, 13, 18 months later, it's still not happening. And you're still paying $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 a month. You know, when do you reel it in and say, hey, look, this specific thing's not working for me?
Right. And also one very famous catchphrase that I heard in my first year was, you just need one commission and it'll pay for the year. Just one commission.
Yeah.
And that's what you're chasing every single time. So in Keller Williams, they say lead with revenue, right? So it's very important to not tap into those unless you can, quote unquote, pay for it in full.
Right.
Yep.
And that's one of the pitfalls, I think, when you're starting out as a new agent coming into this business. Everybody's got their hand out.
For sure.
Once again, I'll beat that analogy up.
Yep.
What are we spending money on? Where are we? Because most let's be truthful here. Let's get real for a second. most agents, most people coming into this business, they lack the business sense to actually run a business. And when you run a business, you have to have P&L statements.
That's right.
Right there, without explaining what a P&L is, most people are scratching their head or hitting Google real quick and taking a look at it. What is a P&L? Well, that's a profit loss statement.
Right.
You know, what is what's profitable? What's on the losing scale? What do I need to get rid of? How much time am I going to lose money in this certain area before I correct it, eliminate that, and really put all this towards whatever's working? You know, typically though, whatever's working, it seems that agents want to stay away from that because therein lies the uncomfortability of the business, which has the direct correlation to a paycheck.
Right.
You know, so agents have a really they come into this business, they don't have a broker, I would say, a mentor, a team leader, a boss of any sorts. Now they're all their own bosses, right? So they get to make their own decisions and not really told what to do. And a lot of them just come into the business and float around, and they have no direction in which way to head. Right. And so they'll typically, you know, they don't know that the board sells off their information right when we come into it. You know, it sells it off to every company that wants to buy it from their MLS or their board. And all of a sudden we start getting phone calls from people asking us if we were interested in buying these leads, if we're interested in buying this service, if we're interested in doing this or attending this. And it's all a sales pitch.
Yep, absolutely.
You know, and so down the road we can... Okay, well, I defeated these guys. I didn't talk to them. I didn't buy their service, but I bought this service over here. And all of a sudden, you get one thing from it. You know, you do get a lead from it. It turns into a sale, and all of a sudden, you've got a $4,000 or $5,000 commission. Where does that go? Now you're in the mindset that this works, and so you start investing more money into that certain product that you bought, whether it's Zillow leads or Trulia leads or Realtor.com or Redfin or whoever you're buying leads from. Whoever's the hot person selling leads these days. I don't know much about that. Don't buy leads. Anyway, so part of trimming the fat is let's give some suggestions out of where to cut this stuff out at, you know, and get down to the nitty gritty. What do agents need to be spending money on? And especially when you're getting into the business, money's tight.
Yep.
Nobody comes into this business already a millionaire. Why the heck would you transfer into whatever fantastic job that was making you a millionaire into real estate where you go to full boat commission and there is no salary, there is no insurance, there is no incentive to do this every day other than the sheer drive of wanting to help people and wanting to build your own business, right?
Yep.
And so, was that a fair assessment? I wasn't trying to be mean to agents, but...
I remember trying to buy my first 2 signs, like trying to get the money together, and then I got them, joined your team, and I never used them. So I still got them.
There you go. But I think there are a lot of opportunities within this industry that you can start for free. So what does that look like? You can do an open house for free. Yes, you're going to have to print flyers. Most likely your brokerage is set up to where you can print flyers at a minimal cost. So that is one opportunity for you to do lead gen for free. Your sphere of influence. Get on Facebook, get in your phone. You can do that for free. If you feel that you need to tap into and pay for something, then I think it's important, Dave touched on it, you have to track everything within your business. This is a business. So you're looking at your P&L, you're monitoring, okay, am I getting the return that I should be getting from this, etc.
How do you track your P&L?
How do you track your P&L?
Yeah.
I use QuickBooks.
Well, you have to create a P&L.
Correct, yeah. So QuickBooks has all my expenses and everything in it. And then within QuickBooks, there's a P&L report.
But you know what? Yeah, and that's the thing, but QuickBooks costs what?
$60 a month.
Okay, so that's $60 a month. That's hard for an agent to bite off. I remember I took on Top Producer, just a CRM,
yeah.
and it was $39 a month.
Yeah.
And at first, being a new agent crushed me.
Yeah.
$39 a month coming out of my pocket every month. Gas was $3.70 a gallon. I drove a Dodge truck, and I could barely put gas in, and nobody's, just like, what the hell's going on here?
Right.
But you touched on something a second ago, like that sphere of influence. Most people will say, I'm sorry, let me back that up. The extreme cost of $60 a month can be eliminated by just going to Google free documents and creating a spreadsheet.
Yep. Oh,
you don't know how to do that? Well, guess who owns Google? Documents. Google. So,
I was like, that's a trick question.
You can go Google how to create a sheet, and I think Google has another one called Money.
I mean, you can do your CRM there, everything.
Yeah, everything can be free
for sure.
right off the bat, and you can just go create a spreadsheet of you have X amount of dollars, and every time you have an expenditure at the end of the week, Sunday night, sit down and go through all your expenditures real quick, and you can do it from your cell phone.
Yep.
I mean, technology is great,
right?
You know, where you can just do this by your cell phones.
MLS dues, yeah.
MLS dues, more MLS dues.
Yeah, you can figure. I mean, still pound to pound. This is the cheapest business to do a startup in, right? This is the cheapest business out there in the real world where you can put a minimal cost in and really make some real money.
But you just feel that you have to spend money to be effective, and you don't.
Well, I think, go ahead.
I was going to say that's just, I mean, for me personally, obviously I'm speaking from my experience, that's just the mindset coming into this, like, oh my gosh, I have to put this marketing plan, and I have a marketing background, so I know as far as like branding and image, how important that is, et cetera. But yeah, you just feel like you have to invest in order to be effective, and you don't.
You don't.
You can borrow stuff. Open house signs, for sale signs, pretty much anything you need. Lock boxes.
Right.
Literally everything you can borrow from agents.
The first broker I went with, he was actually pretty good about that. There was a sign room, and it had all the signs in there. And then you could take as many open house signs as you wanted. And then they had a balloon thing, so you could blow up balloons and do all that stuff. They had free copies that if you were actually holding open houses, they gave you credits for copies. You know, and so if you hold one open house, you got a credit for 30 copies.
That's cool.
So you can print out 30 flyers, or you can bank them.
Nice.
So you can bank those copies, right? So you have them there. And so every month on your agent bill, they would just take out whatever you had, whatever you know, if you were doing X amount of open houses, if you were doing X amount, if you did a mail out, if you took your own time and whatever to create a postcard, they would pick up the mail out for you. It was awesome.
That's very cool.
It was cool. However, there was not much support after that. It was it was still one of those brokerages that threw you against the wall, and if you made it, you made it, and the broker of record there was never there. You know, lived clear out in some other city, you know, away from Austin. That was probably a 45-minute drive to an hour, and would always state that they got in some kind of traffic and they couldn't make it to the office. So it was super hard to do that stuff. Like, remember, I told you I learned to write my first contract. My first listing contract by myself in a YouTube video. So most of everything I know is I'm YouTube trained. So I've been trained by YouTube,
ninja.
and you can see that YouTube's done a great job because I'm freaking killing it.
Yeah.
Oh, everything to YouTube.
I know everything. Yeah, that'll be my acceptance speech one day when I'm
On your gravestone,
Really?
like,
Yeah,
thank
it's not
you,
for your
YouTube.
mom. Like, no thanks to mom. Thank you, YouTube.
That's awesome.
And so everything's free on YouTube. Let's get into real quick when we ask about when I ask new agents that come into my world and say, hey, look, do you have a CRM? Well, typically they don't know what a CRM is, a customer resource management tool. It's something to really keep track of everybody in your sphere and your world, and how do you do that? Most people don't know that it lies right in your cell phone. You know, it's like, okay, do you have a cell phone? You don't have a CRM? Do you have a cell phone? Yeah, I do. Okay, how many contacts do you have in there? I don't know. Okay, well, pull up your contacts real quick, you know, and then get in there. And I mean, I can't tell with this fancy flip phone that I have, but you know, how many contacts I have, but you know, 10 scrolls in, I'm still in the B's.
Yeah.
So, you know, I probably have a couple thousand people in my phone. Well, there's a couple thousand people in your database right there all of a sudden. You know, and you can start marketing to them one by one, sit around and start sending each one of them a text saying, hey, I'm in real estate now. Do you know anybody buying or selling? Question mark. Send it off.
And those in your phone are going to be the most supportive anyway, because they want, hopefully, they want to see you succeed, right? They're your family and friends. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Not everybody in my phone wants to see me succeed.
No? Oh. Well, then, you know, don't call them. So.
But, yeah, okay. And so we got the sphere of influence there. What are some other things that you know, the industry wants from us other than, you know, just our money?
Sales and marketing.
Yeah. So what are some ideas about sales and marketing? What are the phone calls we get these days, day in, day out, that can help us? There's a new one right now. I think we touched on this in one of our previous ones. You pay for your Zillow lead, right? So these dopes that are paying for Zillow leads. Then they have a service now that you send that Zillow lead to them. They'll qualify it for you and hand you back that lead when it's ready to actually go look at property. So you really just don't touch anything at all.
So basically, you have a virtualized ISA.
You have a virtual ISA that's working your Zillow lead, right?
Interesting.
So I don't necessarily understand.
Smaller piece of the pie.
I don't understand that because that person's limiting. They're paying for the Zillow lead. Okay, that's out of their profit.
Right.
Right. And so then they come over here and have this person qualify it for 30% is the number that I saw. So 30% more out of your profit. Then after your broker split,
right.
because nobody starting out in this business doesn't have a broker, you know, and the brokers have bills typically. You know, there's some brokers out there that run really lean, I'd say, and probably work out of their house, and it's just them and maybe a few family members or their wife or some friends or whatever else. Their costs are probably a little bit less substantial than others. However, let's just assume that it's an agent that just doesn't want to work. Okay, so now they're paying their broker typical split. Let's just give them the benefit of the doubt that it's 80-20.
Yeah.
So there's 20% more. So you've got the cost of the lead, whatever that is, over at Zillow. I don't know what Zillow does these days. I've heard they're switching to a platform where they also take a referral fee, and you don't pay them for leads anymore. Anybody listening to this can send me an email at info@realestateontherocks.com and tell me how Zillow works. I'm not sure. So I'm not talking shit about Zillow, but I'm talking shit about Zillow. I don't know how they work. So you're giving up. So right there's 30% of your commission. Let's say they take a referral fee, another 30% for this company to qualify them, then 20% from your broker. So if that was a $10,000 referral, I mean, what's left out of that?
Yeah.
On a $60,000 piece of land, there's nothing.
Well, I'm saying a $10,000
commission.
Right.
So that would be a hell of a commission on a $60,000 piece of land.
Here's your $50. Thanks for the work.
Actually, you'll get an invoice from the brokerage. You'll get an invoice from the broker saying you actually owe us this amount from that transaction.
Right, which I've seen. Actually, no, I've seen other people. There was a young lady at the last brokerage I was at, but she was like, "Oh, don't take those relocation leads. Don't take those. They get you every time."
Reload's like 40.
She pulls it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 50+%.
Oh, I thought it was 41 or something. Or
Not well. Some reload companies
goes up every year.
If the broker is taking
I see what you're
lead,
saying.
they're
Gotcha.
cutting it
Yeah.
also. And so she showed me a check once that she drove back and forth from the lake area out here, and ended up selling the property, worked with the guy, had to drive out there multiple times. It was a nightmare to get closed. There was some zoning issues with it, everything else. Took a lot of her time. $14 is what she got.
No.
She still had the check in her desk, and it was like 3-4 years old, and she was that pissed. And every chance she could get, like someone say reload, her ears would perk up, and you'd see her head pop over the cubicle like an ostrich, looking around, just kind of like, who's doing reload?
Yeah.
Don't do reload.
Don't do it.
Yeah, don't do it.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
Crazy.
sad.
And so, it's like I got that in my head, but then knowing at the same brokerage that a lot of people were doing that reload, and that was the gist of their business. I'm seeing them win awards like crazy, and I know, knowing what they make, I never really thought that was fair.
Right.
But life's not fair, right?
Reloads
so I'm
make
seeing
sense
somebody
if
that's
you're
a
capped,
$15
you know what I'm
million
saying?
agent up there just killing it.
Yeah.
And they're really a 1% agent because I know what they're taking from their split. So, and they're having all their business handed to them. They're putting no money into marketing. They're putting no anything. They're just going on appointments all day long, which doesn't sound these days like a bad gig.
Right.
I'd like to just do that. Go on appointments and just send me checks.
There you go.
I could cut the fat out there. That's for sure. I could lean up there.
Yeah, right.
All right. So let's get to it. What else we got for today?
Trim the fat. Don't waste your money. Oh, we didn't finish on the marketing companies.
Okay.
The guaranteed leads. Oh, we touched on it in a previous podcast.
Not to get stuck in
a little
subscriptions.
bit. Yeah, the yearly
Be
subscription.
careful
or
what you're
6 month.
signing.
Yes, read over the contract, and then the guaranteed.
We're learning that big time right now. I won't put this company on blast yet. However, if we don't get our way, they kind of tripped us up. We signed an agreement, and then we upgraded that. And as soon as we upgraded it, they locked us into a whole nother year without
The
us
whole
paying attention.
Verizon,
So this whole month, we
treatment.
think that we're about to drop our 30 days on that ass, and we're out of this contract, and we're about to head this direction because of the big launch of our new, all of our new stuff over at Keller Williams.
Right.
We can get away from that platform and save some money.
Sure.
Trim some fat. That's what
right.
brought this whole thing to light. And the salesman over there kind of knocked us down a peg yesterday and said, no, we got you.
So they escalated us.
We
Get
got
the special.
you by the cojones, and so sorry about your luck, but yeah, you're with us till
Hashtag
August.
sorry, not sorry is what that means.
Hashtag sorry, not sorry.
yeah.
Hashtag thanks for the cash. You know, thanks for the cash. Yeah, so I'm not real happy about that.
But see, this is a great point though, because how many years are you in, Dave?
6.
This is why it's so important to always know what you're getting into and what's
Right.
going on in your business.
Right. And, you know, I actually have people that I pay to look after that stuff for me, and it slipped past all of us.
Oh, dang.
It was one of those little fine details, and we were fine because we needed to upgrade.
Yeah.
We were adding to our team. We're scaling. Our trajectory's there. All the hot little buzzwords is going on with our team, right? So we've got the business. We need more seats on our CRM, so we took on more, and it ended up kind of shooting us in the foot.
Dang
And
it.
so now we're kind of stuck, but we're not necessarily stuck because it's a moneymaker.
Yeah.
You know, we do make money off of it. We're not losing anything. If we were losing something, I would just shut down the credit card, clip it, then I'd move to like Santiago, Chile, where they couldn't get me. Right? And so I would do that. However, you know, I wanted to try something new.
Yeah.
And I like to try things, put my money towards it, and if it doesn't work, if there's no ROI, I'm out.
Right.
You know, I tried Zillow when I was a young buck agent, you know, and I realized that Zillow was the worst possible thing. I would have more fun or get more out of lighting $100 bills on fire every month than I would handing it to Zillow. I mean, I'd probably actually get more leads because all the people watching me burn $100 bills would
Right.
probably come to me and want to buy real estate. Like,
Yeah.
let me help this dude out because he needs more money to burn.
That'd be hilarious.
Exactly. So, more marketing companies. We've got people. I mean, I haven't the innovation of what these marketing and sales companies are calling what these days. I can't believe they actually have companies that are doing this.
Right.
Stuff.
I mean, you even have like social media management companies, right? And what's important to know about that is with the algorithms of Facebook, they know if you're not organically posting to your page or your business page. So they're just going to compress you because they know it's coming from those third party that they don't necessarily support.
Right. But most folks getting into this business, I mean, they're not really, they're social media savvy. However, they're not really not necessarily tech savvy in the fact that you know this,
Right.
that they're suppressing you with an algorithm and it's not you and they can see all these things. They actually prey on a lot of these older agents that aren't tech savvy.
Right.
You know, and so that are getting into the business at the age mark of, say, like 45.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm 46. Am I 46?
I don't know.
Marshall?
I'm 36.
I'm 46. Am I 46? Man, I just had
Do we need to take a moment? Are you
I think
okay?
I'm 45. I think I'll be 46 this
I
year.
saw a gray
I'm gonna
hair
check
just
my
shoot out
age
his
in a
face.
minute.
Yeah, he's like,
That definitely brought you down a peg. Sales guy, now this. Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Man.
oh,
Anyway.
he's sad.
No, anyway, anybody coming in their 40s, usually there's a tech curve right there, you know, and I think a lot of these people, I have people ask me, who does your social media? I love your social media. Like, I love what you guys do and everything else. Is like, I do it 100%. Nobody touches my stuff.
Right.
Like, I've even had my admins like, let me fill in there and take it off your plate. And it's like, hell no. Have you seen your social media? Like, you know, like it barely got you hired with me. You know, like when,
We still love you, Melanie.
Can you explain why organic posting and information, even though it's not the whole, final polished like media company kind of stuff, is why it's important?
Yeah, I mean, being organic, being real, you have to be relatable, right? I mean, real estate is all about relationships. So if you're real on social media and you're relatable, game on.
real relatable.
Real relatable.
I'm a real person. I mean, what does that mean?
I just like posting cool stuff.
Who am I?
I'm a
You know, what I deem as cool.
boy. Sorry, we had a Pinocchio moment. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I don't cuss.
What I was saying though is like, I don't think nobody can duplicate what I do.
No.
As far as that, because I do like to be a little bit more genuine. I like to take food pictures. You know, we have
Yeah.
Wilco Eats.
Well, and it's your humor, it's your personality, and that's what needs to come through because that's what people are going to relate to, right?
Right.
So if you have James managing your social media, it's going to be from this guy.
It'd be on private.
Yeah.
No one can see anything.
I have a public Instagram. Well, a public business one. The two separated.
Yeah.
Don't be a secret agent, man.
I'm not. I got it public. I post stuff.
No, so I see where people are coming into the business. They're taking on money. There's what's that service? I'm trying to think of it. The girl, she was a friend of mine, and then Ronell. Remember the dude up there at Round Rock, Nissan? He worked for that same company. But he was like, man, I'm glad you didn't buy that. That thing was worthless.
Oh, no.
And I was like, you know what, man? I remember asking you to your face. Like, I went to high school with this guy.
Buy
He's trying to sell me his platform. He's trying to sell me his platform. And I was like, tell me off the record, man. Is it good? And he's like, yeah, dude, it's great. You know, and just kind of.
And then later he's like, nah.
Yeah, I saw him up at. I went and looked at some fancy car, and he's the salesman up there. And he's like, yeah, I had to leave that other job. That other job was horrible. You know, and just kind of like. I couldn't believe in what I was selling, you know, and it didn't do what I was saying I'm going to do. We're selling social media services, and everybody gets the same thing. Like we're selling email drip campaigns with the same thing. So if I sign up, you sign up on the same day of the 15th of every month, it's pushing out an email to your database, you know, stating the same thing. Well, the template's the exact same for everybody. And so, what was it?
Was it Grasshopper?
No, it wasn't Grasshopper.
Oh.
No, Grasshopper's a.
Isn't it phone? Something with phones?
Grasshopper's a mailing site. I mean, a telephone site.
Yeah, I thought it was something with
Wow.
phones.
One thing I don't pay for.
Don't pay for anything.
Oh. Mooch.
I pay for Spacio, and we're about for until August apparently.
Spacio.
So there's definitely. Let's talk about some things that are worth paying for. So let's do that. Let's look at those.
Yeah, so a dialer, if you're planning to call expireds or FSBOs.
Okay. What does that mean? What's a dialer look like for some of these new folks that don't coming in? What's a dialer do for them?
And side note, we're not endorsing or guaranteeing any of the services or products that we're talking about.
Thank you, you
Throwing
guys.
that out there real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
However, Mojo, if you want to give me a deal, Red X, whoever wants to fight over me, let's go right now. Call me.
Yeah. So a dialer is a wonderful system that will pull expired listings and for sale by owner information, and it'll bring it into this platform, and it has all of the phone numbers and emails for those who provide that. And all you do is you connect your phone, and it automatically dials every single person that you want to call that day. So it's all about being efficient and being accurate with who you're reaching out to.
Nice. And they have a CRM built around that.
They do.
I believe, and how I know it is that it's super helpful for especially new agents because one is just dialing those numbers. It's got a triple dialer, right? Did you mention that? So it's dialing 3 phone numbers at one time, and so the first one it picks up, it puts the other 2 on pause or just hangs up while you take that and field that phone call. And then whether you're calling them for sale by owner, your circle prospecting, your cold calling, which is the same thing as circle prospecting, or you're working expireds or withdrawals, you know, you can kind of know, and then you just keep them all in your database. So you can pull up all your withdrawals and you can start the phones on everybody that withdrew however long you want to go back.
Right.
The stuff's updated every single day. Also in that, as soon as you call, it's got a drop-down screen and you can select from scripts. If you decide you're going to you're going to take the route of leaving messages, it has pre-recorded messages that you can just drop right there and say message 1, 2, or 3, whatever best suits that person that you're calling, and leave that there. So you're leaving messages, once again, creating more efficiency. It's a hell of a tool. We use it. We're not using it as a high level as I'd like. However, the discussions today in the big team meeting were that of we're going to become Mojo just fanatics. And so I want to create an atmosphere to where I take it away and there's only one Mojo. So basically the first one in the office gets it in the morning. And so create a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Yeah.
And so, and then signing up at nighttime. And look at these 2 bozos. Both of them are going like, we're not going to fight over it.
A lot of traffic this morning. Sorry I'm late, guys.
Yeah.
I guess the Mojo's yours.
Cool.
I have power hour in the morning, so I
Hey, Marshall, can I get right down to the unemployment line?
I don't get in until 9 o'clock because we got power hour.
Yep.
That's all right. I do stay later than everyone.
So I think you catch my drift of what I'm trying to say, though, is you want to be on it. It's one of those things that, I mean, it's one of the basics paired with technology.
Yep.
And so you take the basics of reaching out to people, calling, getting belly to belly, face to face.
More conversations.
And
3 times faster.
That's right.
It makes that more efficient. So that is a great one to spend money on. Looks like $149 a month for the dialer. Then they have different add-ons that are charged monthly. So you can go to month to month. If you don't like it, goose it. There's no contracts. That's one thing I love about them too. No freaking contracts.
Yep.
You know, they won't pull the
whole 12-month.
Love it.
Yeah, and so I think like FSBO data is like a $25. I think expired, which are on data, is like $40 or $50 a month, something like that. And so for right around $200, $225 a month, I mean, that's worth its weight in gold if you're using it. You know, if you get one closing a month from that, obviously you can just put towards your marketing costs. That's your sales and that's your marketing costs, you know? So
You can leverage, initially, if you can't afford the dialer, is free FSBO information on Zillow, which isn't always accurate.
right.
I've called a couple people that
we'll hop
already
into
had
that one here in a minute, but we're gonna do a bunch of little free tips. Right now we're doing the things that can be paid
That you
for.
want to invest in.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
you could invest in, right? And so another one that we use are
I use Power Director. It's an app for your phone. It's $5. I think it's only for Android though, but it really helps with all the video creation with the green screens. It's the only one I found that's really efficient for my phone. So I love it. I'm gonna keep that. I was using a route planner for a little while so I could, save time and gas and do the shortest distance possible. I was using Route for Me, which was also $5, but I found one on the internet called RouteXL.com, which does the same thing. You just set it down at the computer, the desktop, crank it out, and save some money. And then I also pay for Spacio, which is $25 a month, which is an open house sign-in app that works on the iPad and an iPad like stand or podium. Basically saves me time by taking all the leads and putting them into our CRM. So I find those valuable.
Open Home Pro is my open house sign-in. That is pretty similar to Spacio.
I only use Spacio because it integrates with our current platform.
our
Nice.
current CRM that we're not going to mention at this time, but will be on blast on the next episode.
Yes.
If they don't give me what I want,
Dun, dun, dun.
which is my life back.
I just want my life back.
And so another one we have, another great, I think it's $15 a month, are text writers. And so it goes on top of the sign. Ours are customized to my name, like text Dave 13 at 07791 or whatever it is, and it will give you the information on the house. So we'll send you the full MLS listing with a link, and immediately it captures
That lead.
that person's lead.
Right.
And so we've banked probably right about $1 million worth of sales off of that little text writer alone.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and really that was just 2 sales. However, both
True.
expensive homes.
But $15 a month, I think you're
Yeah,
doing
$15
okay.
a month.
Yeah. Set for life.
Yeah, I'll keep it even if I get out of the business. But that was a really good one. I know that we have not list reports. We do get list reports, however, that's provided from a lender for us. And then we have List Hub. Is that what it is? List Hub.
I've
List
heard of it. I
Hub
don't
is a follow-up
use it.
tool. It's about $125 a month, but basically breaks down all your showings that you have. So it gives you showing reports for your clients. We list a lot of homes. We've always got running somewhere between 15 to 20 listings a month. So it's very hard every Monday to get as much feedback as many showings as we have to get them out. So it's definitely worth $125. However, I can do that because it also leverages the assistants, the team of assistants that are doing that stuff, that I don't have to sit there and pay them to sit in front of the computer and pull all this stuff out. They just get a detailed list of whoever showed the house. And I think you can get one of those kind of reports off of the Superbox also. However, this one's a little bit more detailed.
Nice.
And able to show. And if they wanted to leave feedback, it can be in there too. So
I would add social media marketing to that list. I think that's a good investment, whether you're day one or day.
give me an example of
1,000.
social media marketing.
So Facebook, Instagram, where you just basically create an ad and you're either targeting sellers or buyers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just
yeah.
tap into that because that can be very minimal in terms of costs, and you'll still, well, hopefully you'll get a return on
It totally is. We probably spend about $100 a month or so just on the stuff that we do. My social media, people used to ask me all the time, like, how are we just doing as well as we're doing right now? And I would always credit it back to Facebook. And people are like, oh, wow, you do Facebook ads. I'm like, no, I don't do any Facebook ads. I don't do any at all.
Come on.
Actually, I do them now, you know, but it's like most of mine is top of mind awareness. So that little thing we call TOMA, right? So I create top of mind awareness by staying omnipresent in front of people's faces all the time. And that's another important thing that I won't ever give up my social media. You know, it doesn't matter how big the team grows and whatever roles I step into, I'll more than likely at least run the immediate social media campaigns for, you know, the Keller Williams United Group, for Dave Snowberger, for Top Shelf Agents, and for Real Estate on the Rocks. And then I have, of course, my side project that I don't mention real estate at all in is Wilco Eats, which is a complete food type Facebook, YouTube show that does a lot of that stuff. But by staying in front of people on social media is I think one of the secret ingredients that of a little bit of the success we've had.
Right.
But how do people find out more about running Facebook ads?
Facebook actually has, I don't know what they call it. It's not Facebook University, but it's similar to that. They have a ton. Blueprint, thank you. Ton of free training out there where you can educate. And there's classes if you need that in person.
Okay. One of the answers I'm looking for all the time when I say that stuff, just so you guys know moving forward,
YouTube
is who raised me. YouTube.
Gotcha.
I was say you go to Facebook Academy,
Who raised me?
you graduate.
Thank you, Dad.
Got to take it again 6 months later.
Yeah.
It's always changing.
Okay, so what are you searching on YouTube to get that?
Like how to run Facebook ads, and then you
Just like a
usually put the date behind it. So I always put anything that I want new content wise. I try to add in the date, like 2019 or 2018, because there's things that you search and it's had the most hits or the most views. Therefore, it comes up top first, which could still be relevant. However, mostly with the social media marketing that I'm seeing, algorithms constantly changing, and just people trying to. You threw me off. You looked at your watch.
Sorry, man. It's telling me to stand up.
Mine was doing twist or torso.
Nice. At the same time, that's funny.
That's awesome. Technology is distracting everybody.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Don't forget about Audible. I think that's a valuable resource.
Ooh, I
That's
agree.
probably the best $15 a month.
Yes.
You can't afford
newbie
it.
Can
Get your
Automobile
podcast
University.
player as well. Listen to those podcasts because they're free.
Yes, that is great. I love it.
What do you? I do the iTunes store for my podcasts. What about yours?
Podcast player.
Podcast player.
That's for
Yeah, the
Android.
podcast app that came through the iPhone for me.
Yeah, that's what I do most. And we'll drop I don't want to talk about other folks' podcasts right now. However, some that I like are what is it? Real Estate Unrestricted. What's their name?
You like Daily Dose.
Well, I like the Daily Dose. That one's awesome, out of Phoenix, Arizona. That's my home group out of Phoenix. But I like theirs, and I like how they have it broken down to the 15-minute episodes. Another one I like a lot is Tim and Julie Harris. A lot of people have lots of things to say about Tim and Julie Harris' podcast, but they are a no nonsense, no BS, like straight up, like put your ass into action. No one's going to do it for you. He comes from that space of, do what you don't want to do when you don't want to do it at a high level and really get going. I like his stuff and I listen to it all the time. And I'm actually a certified coach with Tim and Julie Harris.
What?
So yeah, nobody knows that about me. I kind of keep that on the DL because that's just what I do.
Keep it on the DL.
There's no real. I guess we just never talk about it. That's it. So there's a new one out, the Agents for Change. I really like that one. I don't really think that's really. It has something to do with real estate marketing. However, that's more of a marketing podcast from how I understand that one that I listen to. Dave Ramsey, great financial information all the time. What else?
I need to listen to that
Real
a little
estate
bit more.
guys.
Yeah, there's those
an old school one that's
those guys out of I think they're out of Arizona somewhere also, but the Next Level Agents, they have a big Facebook page too with another guy named Cody Gibson that has the Keller Williams My Home group. Or no. What's their name? It's similar to ours. We're the United Group. They're the United Home Group. Yeah, they are. Yeah, at family reunion one year, she's like, "Oh, you're with Cody's group?" And I'm like, "Who's Cody?" She's like, "The owner of your team." And I'm like, "I'm the owner of it."
Have you met me?
Yeah. Then I had to go Google it and find out who the hell they were,
Oh, Google.
Yeah. Oh, Google. Tony Robbins also kills it, So all this stuff is free. You can really go on there and just take on as much as content as possible. And the content is free as it is. It's the most valuable asset out there. It is the most valuable thing you can do is dedicate an hour of your morning to absorbing as much content as possible.
Absolutely. I mean, that's going to serve you better than just music, right? So.
Yeah. What's music? I don't listen to it anymore.
What is it?
I got a 45-minute drive in the morning, typically to the office. Well, it's really an 18-minute drive, but with traffic, it's 45 minutes. the beautiful Austin traffic, I can squeeze in 1 or 2 podcasts in the morning if it's a good 20 to 30 minute show.
Well, even if you're going
shaving, showering, getting dressed in the morning, getting in the car.
I start there.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm up in the morning and I meditate.
Well, and going to your daddy YouTube, I mean, you can listen to scripts on your way in, so that way when you get to the office, you're ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, that's probably one of the biggest things right there, because our job description as agents is to lead generate, lead follow up, go on appointments, negotiate contracts, and practice scripts and role play. I think practice scripts and role play is your number one. I really want to know. You're showing her something on your phone and you're both smiling.
I was showing her. I got
It was about you, man.
one button that you push that'll go
Directly
right
to
the
YouTube
lead.
script.
Yeah, script pages.
Wow, that's really nerdy.
I'm a script nerd.
Script nerd.
Script
That's
nerd.
why you rock and rolling, man.
Nerd.
Well, cool. Let's go ahead and get out of here. It seems that we're running out of topics to talk about today. So, James, you got anything to add to us real quick for the new people out there?
You're pretty quiet today, new guy.
Yeah.
I know. I was absorbing
Oh, yeah?
and
taking it all
coordinating.
Taking
in.
in content?
No, I was completely
taking
ignoring
notes.
everything.
I figure out how to save this money. Walking out the door.
He's like, crap, I got to cancel this.
I know. No,
I
I've,
feel like a dummy.
I'm in for a year now.
no, I've actually been. Well, I slipped up one time with the guys, same company I told you guys about last time with the driving traffic to the website and guaranteeing stuff on Facebook and stuff like that, which they're not currently doing. But other than that, like I cut people out pretty fast. A lot of stuff just wasn't working. I was like, oh, I'm good with this stuff and that, and I'll leverage these people, and it was more of a distraction than a leveraged asset. So I cut pretty much all of that. I'm paying almost nothing for services now.
I say, if anyone ever calls you on the phone and they say, "Oh, I'm not trying to sell you leads," they're trying to sell you leads.
They're trying to
Leave him.
They sell them some.
Yeah.
So, I forgot. I had one more point before we got out of here. I guess it wasn't important. I'll probably think of it right when we hang these things up
It's usually how it goes.
and walk out of here. But thanks for listening to this edition of Real Estate on the Rocks. I've been your host, Dave Snowberger. Alicia Hooper is here today, and Marshall Tucker, then James Mendez, the new guy over there, as he's better known as we deemed him. I'd like to thank our sponsor, Mike Harrell over at Guild Mortgage. All of us can be reached at info@realestateontherocks.com. We will see you on the next one. Thanks for listening.
Bye, y'all.